The sun was just beginning to set, casting long shadows across the quiet neighborhood. A man in his early 30s walked down the familiar street, his hands stuffed in his pockets. He had just finished another long day at work, and all he wanted was to get home, eat something warm, and relax. But tonight would be different. Tonight, something would happen that would change everything. As he turned the corner toward his house, he noticed something strange. His front door was slightly open. He always locked it. Always. A cold feeling crept up his spine. Had someone broken in? Was someone still inside? He hesitated for a moment, then stepped forward, pushing the door open slowly. The house was dark, silent. Too silent. His heart pounded as he reached for the light switch. Click. The lights flickered on, and what he saw next made his blood run cold. The living room was completely empty. Not a single piece of furniture remained. No couch, no TV, no photos on the walls. It was as if no one had ever lived there. His hands trembled as he pulled out his phone, dialing the first number that came to mind, his partner's. The phone rang once, twice, then went straight to voicemail. Something was very wrong. He walked further inside, his footsteps echoing in the empty space. Then, on the kitchen counter, he spotted a single envelope with his name written on it in neat handwriting. With shaky fingers, he opened it. Inside was a short note, just a few words, but those words would shatter his world forever. The man stood frozen in the empty house, the note trembling in his hands. His eyes scanned the words again and again, as if hoping they would change. But they didn't. I had to leave. Don't try to find me. That was it. No explanation. No goodbye. Just those 7 words. His mind raced. Was this a joke? Some kind of mistake? He checked the envelope again, no other clues, no hidden messages. Just his name in that same neat handwriting he knew so well. He pulled out his phone again, dialing his partner's number. Still no answer. Then he tried calling their closest friends, their family, anyone who might know something. But no one had heard anything. No one knew why this had happened. His legs felt weak. He slumped against the bare kitchen wall, sliding down until he was sitting on the cold floor. His thoughts were a mess. Just yesterday, everything had been normal. They had eaten dinner together, laughed about some silly video they'd seen online. There had been no fights, no signs that anything was wrong. So why was everything gone? His eyes darted around the empty room, searching for anything that might give him answers. Then he noticed something, a small scratch on the wooden floor near the hallway. He crawled over, running his fingers over the mark. It was fresh. Someone had moved furniture out in a hurry. He stood up quickly, rushing to the bedroom. The door was slightly ajar. He pushed it open, his heart pounding. The bed was gone. The closet doors hung open, empty. But on the floor, near the window, was a single photo, one that had been left behind. He picked it up. It was a picture of the two of them, smiling on a beach vacation last summer. The edges were slightly crumpled, like it had been dropped in a hurry. Why leave this behind? Was it an accident? Or was it a message? His hands clenched the photo tighter. He wasn't just hurt, he was angry. If this was really over, he deserved to know why. Then, a noise from outside snapped him out of his thoughts. A car door slamming. He rushed to the window, peering through the blinds. A neighbor was getting out of their car, completely unaware of the storm of emotions raging inside the house across the street. But then something else caught his eye. Parked a little further down the road was a dark sedan. A man sat in the driver's seat, just watching. Was he imagining things? Or was that car there because of him? The man in the sedan turned his head slightly, as if sensing he'd been noticed. Then, without warning, the car's engine roared to life, and it sped off down the street. The man in the empty house stood there, his breath uneven. This wasn't just a breakup. Something bigger was going on. And he was going to find out what. The man bolted out the front door, eyes locked on the dark sedan speeding away. His first instinct was to chase it, but how? His own car was still parked in the driveway, keys inside the house. He sprinted back inside, nearly slipping on the hardwood floor in his rush. His hands fumbled through the empty kitchen drawers where keys used to be kept. Nothing. He checked the countertops, the hallway table, gone. A sickening realization hit him. Whoever took everything else must have taken his car keys too. Breathing hard, he grabbed his phone again. This time, he didn't call his partner, he called the police. "I need to report a missing person," he told the dispatcher, voice cracking. "And a possible burglary. My whole house is empty." The dispatcher asked calm questions, but each one made his stomach twist tighter. "When did you last see them? Any signs of forced entry? Any reason someone would want to harm them?" He had no answers. Only the note. Only the strange car. Only this hollow, echoing house that no longer felt like home. While waiting for the police, he paced through each room again, searching for anything they might have missed. The bathroom, empty. The spare room, just dust marks where furniture once stood. Then, the office. The desk was gone, but something glinted near the baseboard. A USB drive. His fingers closed around it. This wasn't left by accident, it was wedged deliberately in a narrow gap where the wall met the floor. The sound of sirens cut through his thoughts. He pocketed the drive and met the officers at the door. Two cops, one older with tired eyes, one younger who kept glancing around like he expected danger, listened as the man explained everything. The empty house. The note. The watching car. The older cop took notes. The younger one walked through the rooms, flashlight sweeping corners. "You two have any recent fights?" the older cop asked. "No. Nothing. Everything was normal." "Financial troubles? Someone who might want to hurt either of you?" "No. We are, happy." The present tense slipped out automatically, even as the empty rooms screamed otherwise. The younger cop returned, shaking his head. "No signs of break-in. Locks are fine. If someone took everything, they had a key." The words landed like a punch. A key meant trust. A key meant this wasn't random. The officers left with promises to check traffic cameras for the dark sedan and to reach out to his partner's family. The man stood in the doorway long after their taillights disappeared, the USB drive burning a hole in his pocket. Inside, he plugged it into his laptop, the one device still in the house, only because he'd taken it to work that day. A single video file appeared. His finger hovered over the trackpad. Whatever was on this drive would change everything. He clicked play. The screen flickered to life. For a few seconds, there was only darkness, then shaky footage of a dimly lit room came into focus. The camera angle was low, like it had been placed on a table or the floor. The man leaned closer, pulse hammering in his throat. Then, a voice. "If you're watching this, I'm already gone." It was their voice. The one he knew better than his own. But it sounded different, tight with fear, or maybe sadness. The camera tilted upward, revealing their face. Their eyes were red-rimmed, like they hadn't slept in days. They kept glancing off camera, as if checking for something. "I need you to listen carefully," they said, voice barely above a whisper. "Don't go to the police. Don't trust anyone. The people who took me, they're watching you right now." A cold sweat broke across the man's back. His eyes darted to his own windows, half expecting to see shadowy figures outside. On screen, his partner took a shaky breath. There's a safe deposit box at First National Bank. Keys taped under the sink in the guest bathroom. It has everything you need to understand. But you have to be careful. A loud thud off camera made them flinch. Their heads snapped toward the sound, eyes wide with terror. The video cut to black. The man sat frozen, the laptop's glow the only light in the empty house. His mind reeled. Took me. Watching you. Don't trust anyone. This wasn't a breakup. This was a kidnapping. He launched from the chair, nearly tripping in his rush to the guest bathroom. The sink's porcelain was cold under his fingers as he felt beneath it. His nails scraped against something metallic, a small key secured with peeling duct tape. Footsteps creaked in the hallway. He whirled around, heart in his throat, but the house was still empty. Just the settling noises of an old building. Just his own panic playing tricks on him. The key bit into his palm as he clenched his fist. First National Bank didn't open until 9 a.m. 9 endless hours away. His phone buzzed, an unknown number. The screen showed only 7 chilling words. Stop looking. Or they'll kill me too. The text message glowed on his phone screen like a live wire. His hands shook so badly he nearly dropped the device. Kill me too. The words didn't just suggest danger, they confirmed his worst fear. This wasn't just a disappearance. It was a threat. A war. He stared at the unknown number, fingers hovering over the keyboard. Should he reply? Would that make things worse? Before he could decide, another message came through. They know you have the key. Put it back if you want to see them alive again. The walls of the bathroom seemed to close in around him. How could they possibly know he'd found the key? Unless... His eyes shot to the air vent near the ceiling. To the smoke detector in the corner. To the phone in his hand. All potential cameras. All possible ways to be watched. A surge of anger cut through the fear. If they were watching, let them watch. He wasn't playing by their rules anymore. He grabbed his jacket and shoved the key deep into his pocket. The bank wouldn't open for hours, but he wasn't waiting here like a trapped animal. He needed to think, and he couldn't do that in this empty house that no longer felt safe. The all-night diner 3 blocks away was nearly empty at this hour. He took a corner booth with a clear view of both exits, his back to the wall. The waitress, a tired-looking woman with smudged eyeliner, poured him coffee without asking. "You look like you've had one hell of a night," she muttered. He almost laughed. If only she knew. As the bitter coffee burned his throat, he mentally retraced the last few weeks. Had there been signs? Strange phone calls his partner took in another room? Unusual work hours? That one time he'd come home to find them hastily closing their laptop? His thoughts were interrupted by the diner's TV. A local news reporter stood outside a familiar office building, his partner's workplace. Authorities confirmed the sudden resignation came without notice. Colleagues say they seemed distracted in recent days but showed no signs of. The coffee cup slipped from his fingers, shattering on the linoleum. The waitress hurried over with a towel, but he barely noticed. Resignation? His partner loved that job. They'd celebrated a promotion just last month. None of this made sense. Unless they'd known this was coming. Unless they'd been preparing. He left cash on the table and rushed into the cold night air. The bank wouldn't open for hours, but now he had a new lead. If his partner had quit their job, there would be records. Conversations. Maybe even a paper trail. As he turned the corner toward his car, headlights flared to life across the street. The dark sedan was back. And this time, it was moving straight toward him. The sedan's headlights blinded him as it accelerated. Instinct took over, he dove sideways just as the vehicle mounted the curb with a screech of tires, missing him by inches. The side mirror clipped his shoulder as it passed, sending a jolt of pain down his arm. Rolling onto his knees, he saw the brake lights flare red. They were turning around. Coming back. He scrambled up and sprinted into the alley beside the diner, trash cans clattering behind him. His lungs burned, but he didn't slow down, couldn't slow down. The roar of the engine echoed between the close walls as the sedan tried to follow. A chain-link fence loomed ahead. He vaulted over it, the metal rattling violently as he landed in a darkened parking lot. Behind him, car doors slammed. Voices shouted. "Just give us the key and this ends now." He didn't look back. Weaving between abandoned cars, he spotted a delivery truck idling outside a 24-hour grocery store. The driver was inside collecting a dolly. Without hesitation, he yanked open the passenger door and slid in. The cab smelled of stale cigarettes and sweat. He crouched low as footsteps ran past outside. Where the hell? The truck driver froze mid-sentence as he returned to find an unexpected passenger. "Please," he gasped, "just drive. Now." Maybe it was the wild look in his eyes, or the blood from where the mirror had gashed his arm. Either way, the driver threw the truck into gear without another word. 20 minutes later, the truck pulled over behind a closed gas station. "You need a hospital," the driver said, eyeing his bleeding arm. "Can't." He fumbled for his wallet. "How much to borrow your phone?" The burner phone he'd bought at the gas station felt cheap and slippery in his hands. He dialed the only number he'd ever memorized, his partner's mother. "Hello?" The sleepy voice cracked with age. "It's me. Don't say my name. Is there anything at all, they mentioned recently? Something that seemed unimportant?" A long pause. Then, "They asked about Grandpa's old military unit last week. Said they were researching family history. But, you know, Grandpa never talked about the war." Ice flooded his veins. Their grandfather had been intelligence. Special ops. The kind of soldier whose records were still classified 50 years later. The pieces clicked together with terrifying clarity. This wasn't random. This wasn't crime. This was a ghost from the past that had finally found them. The pre-dawn hours found him crouched behind a dumpster outside First National Bank, his injured arm throbbing in time with his heartbeat. The gas station clerk had given him a faded hoodie and a roll of duct tape to bandage the wound, poor payment for the $100 bill he'd pressed into the man's hands. His breath fogged in the cold air as he watched the bank's overnight security guard make his rounds. Every 37 minutes, same pattern. He'd counted 3 cycles now. The guard would pause at the safe deposit vault, yawn, then continue toward the manager's office. A black sedan crawled past the bank for the 3rd time in an hour. They were waiting for him too. His burner phone vibrated, an alert from the banking app he'd hacked into using his partner's password, Sunflower123, the name of their first pet. The safe deposit box was registered to a El Havas. A name he'd never heard before. The security guard disappeared into the back office. Now. He moved fast, keeping low. The fire exit door was supposed to be alarmed, but the rusted hinge told another story. A sharp tug and he was in, the stale air of the bank's back hallway filling his lungs. The vault door gleamed under emergency exit lights. His stolen keycard, lifted from a distracted banker at the diner, got him through the first lock. The small silver key from under the sink turned the second. Box 317 slid open with a whisper. Inside, a single manila envelope. He tore it open. Photographs spilled across the floor. Black and white. Military. A group of young soldiers in front of a jungle outpost. His partner's grandfather stood in the back row, face unreadable. One man in front held something, a carved stone box. A newspaper clipping fluttered down. 1968 incident at Da Nang base remains classified, with half the article redacted. The last item was a modern keycard with a magnetic strip and the logo of a private security firm, Iron Veil Solutions. A shadow moved in the hallway. He spun as the security guard's flashlight blinded him. Freeze! Police are on there. The guard suddenly crumpled forward, revealing a slender figure in black behind him. A woman lowered her taser and stepped over the unconscious body. "You're slower than they said you'd be," she murmured. Her ID badge dangled from a lanyard, Iron Veil Solutions. Clearance level 4. She tossed him a car key. "We have approximately 90 seconds before the real trouble arrives. You want to see them alive? Run." The woman in black didn't wait for his response. She was already sprinting toward the emergency exit, combat boots silent on the tile floor. He grabbed the scattered documents and followed, the Iron Veil keycard burning a hole in his pocket. A car engine roared outside. Not the sedan, this was a black SUV with tinted windows, idling beside a dumpster. The woman yanked open the passenger door. "Get in or get left." He dove inside just as shouting erupted from the bank's front entrance. The SUV peeled away, tires screaming. "Who the hell are you?" he demanded as they swerved onto the highway. "Claire," she said, keeping her eyes on the road. "Your partner's coworker." "Well, former coworker now." His stomach dropped. "You worked at the same office? Then you know why they quit suddenly. Disappeared?" Claire's knuckles whitened on the steering wheel. "Because they found out what Iron Veil was really doing. And so did I." She tossed him a tablet. Security footage showed his partner placing documents into a locker, the same night they vanished. The timestamp, 3:17 a.m. "Those files prove Iron Veil's been covering up war crimes from your grandfather's unit," Claire said. "Your partner was going public. Then Iron Veil's cleanup crew moved in." The SUV exited onto a deserted industrial road. A warehouse loomed ahead, its windows dark. Claire killed the headlights as they rolled to a stop. "They're in there," she said quietly. "Alive. For now." The warehouse door creaked as they slipped inside. Darkness. The smell of oil and metal. Distant dripping water. Then, a muffled whimper. His heart stopped. He knew that sound. Following the noise, they crept past stacked crates marked with the Iron Veil logo. A single light shone ahead, illuminating a chair, and a figure slumped in it. His partner. Alive. Bruised. But alive. He rushed forward, then froze as a voice echoed through the warehouse. "I was hoping you'd come." A man stepped into the light. Mid-60s. Cold eyes. The same face from the military photo, older now, but unmistakable. The soldier who'd held the carved stone box. "Mr. Voss, I presume," the man smiled. "You have your grandfather's stubbornness." Claire's gun clicked as she aimed it at the man. "It's over, Colonel. The files are all ready." A gunshot rang out. Claire gasped, collapsing. The colonel didn't even blink. "Now," he said, turning back, "about that keycard you stole." His partner stirred in the chair, their voice raw but clear. "Run, it's a trap." The colonel sighed. Sentimental to the last. He raised his pistol. Bang. The colonel jerked forward, eyes wide. A red bloom spread across his chest as he crumpled. Behind him, Claire leaned against a crate, smoke curling from her gun. "Told you, it was over." 3 hours later, police swarmed the warehouse. News vans clustered outside as the story broke: Iron Veil's crimes, the decades-long cover-up, everything. In the ambulance, his partner squeezed his hand weakly. "You shouldn't have come." He kissed their bruised knuckles. "Like I had a choice." Claire was being loaded into another ambulance, an EMT praising her miraculous survival. She winked at them before the doors closed. As dawn broke, they sat together in the back of a police car, wrapped in shock blankets. His partner nodded toward the news playing on a nearby monitor, Ironvale's CEO being arrested live on camera. "Think we'll get a movie deal?" they whispered. He laughed for the first time in days. It hurt. It was perfect. Somewhere in the chaos, the carved stone box from the photos was being catalogued as evidence. Neither of them noticed when it disappeared from the police inventory. But that is another story.